considered -4. Rise is the only one that can be negative. Now again, as I said to start with, that is not necessarily the whole truth. But the way we're going to do every single problem, your rise is the only one that can ever work out to be negative. Okay? That's because we're starting at left and going to right. If we started at right and went to left, well then it would be the other way around. We're not going to do that. We're just going to do it the same way every time. Okay, and then I have to count my run here. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 jumps off to the right. So my slope is -4/7. One underneath it. So we'll start by counting the rise. How much it takes to get me from here to here. So that's 1, 2, 3. Write that down. That looks like it's 4 up. 4 jumps up. And then we count to the right. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 jumps to the right. So my slope is 4/4. And yes, that can be reduced if you want. 1/1. Okay. Finding the slope from a graph should not be the most challenging thing you've done this year by any means. All right. Now, underneath that, some general knowledge about slope, which you'll also need for tomorrow's quiz. Right? You have to be able to just tell by looking at a graph what type of slope the graph has. Any line that tips up from left to right has a positive slope. So whether it's tipped up like that, real steep like that, or just barely tipped up, that would be considered positive amount of slope. Negative is when it tips down from left to right. So whether it's real steep like that, not nearly as steep, or barely steep, right, that's considered negative slope. Now there's 2 special slopes too, and you might remember this from last year. Okay? There's a 0 slope and there's an undefined slope. A 0 slope is when the line is perfectly horizontal. An undefined slope is when the line is perfectly vertical. The way I taught you to remember this last year, maybe you remember it, maybe you don't, is I always tell people to think of it like you're walking. Okay? If I'm walking across horizontal surface, the ground, this is 0 challenge for me. Right? Like the slope, 0 challenge. On the other hand, if I'm thinking of it trying to walk up a vertical surface, right, I can't walk up the wall. Right? I'm not going to make it. It's impossible. Just like finding the slope of a vertical line. There is no such thing as a slope of a vertical line. It's undefined. Okay? You have to know those for the quiz. Positive, negative, 0, and undefined. Okay, last thing. All right. The last thing we're doing is we're using one of the other definitions for slope. The y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 formula. As far as the other definitions, we'll use M probably starting next week on Monday. Right. This definition now is what we're using for these examples out here. Okay. You're supposed to find the slope of the line that runs through 2 points. Now, as you can see, I've worked out this first problem for you. What they're going to give you is 2 points, like this or like this. Okay. All right, you have to plug the numbers into the formula to find the slope. Now, how do you know what's what here? Hopefully you remember that points are always written as x, comma, y. So 2 is an x, 1 is a y, 6 is an x, 4 is a y. Okay. First one's always x, second one's always y. Okay. That accounts for the x and the y's. Now, where do the 1s and the 2's come from? The 1s and the 2's just stand for the set of numbers they're from. The 1s are because this is the first set of numbers. The 2's are just because that's the second set of numbers. If there was a third set of numbers, we'd have x3 and y3. Fourth set would be x4 and y4. Okay. Now, once you identify the points, you just have to plug them into this formula. Now, the thing that screws people up most with this formula is they like to try and do x first. And that's not the way the formula goes. The formula goes with y first. It's y2 minus y1 on the top. So y2 is 4, and y1 is 1. So you've got 4 minus 1 that goes on the top. The bottom is x2 minus x1. So 6 minus 2 on the bottom. 6 minus 2 is 4. You can see I just came up with 3/4, and that's the slope. Now you could verify that. You could plot 2, 1, go right 2 and up 1, put a dot from the origin. And 6, 4, start at the origin, go right 6, up 4, put a dot. And you could count it up and you would get the same thing, 3/4. But this is the way you do it with a formula. Okay, so let's try it 4a here. We're supposed to find the slope. All right, again, remember, points always go x, comma, y. So 0 is an x, 6 is a y, 10 is an x, 0 is a y. Then we just got to fill in the 1s and the 2's. Again, 1s come from the first set of numbers, so 1 and 1. 2's come from the second set of numbers, 2 and 2. Okay, so now we have to find the slope. Top of the formula is y2 minus y1. So that's 0 and 6. 0 minus 6. Bottom of the formula is x2 minus x1. 10 minus 0. Now we just have to subtract it out. 0 minus 6 gives me -6. 10 minus 0 gives me 10. You can reduce it if you want to. You don't have to. That does reduce to -3/5. And there you go. You found the slope. All right. Let's get the other one. -3, -4, 5, comma 2. -3, -4, 5, comma 2. Okay, what number up there is x2? x2, Victoria?
5.
5. What number up there is y1? Kurt?
-4.
Good. What number up there is x1? x1. Sarah?
-3.
-3.